Hey everyone, this is Tony Reeves and this is Reeves Point of View. Today I want you to understand why some attorneys want their attorney fees, if it's a retainer agreement, or some of their costs paid to them upfront. The one thing I often tell people, and I had two running philosophies. I used to always tell people when I was working with some of my professional peers, I learned a very hard lesson. I'm not in the business of giving money away. And I say that to go into my second point, which is at the end of the day, regardless of what type of law I do, it is a business. So when I have a law firm, it is a law business. Now, what do I mean when I'm saying all those things? This is the point that I have to remind people. I can tell you early in my practice, I had this habit where in order for me to do the type of law I did, and both employment law and a few other areas of law, I spent a lot of my money up front in order to help the person's case. And with the hopes that I would be able to win the case and then they would reimburse me. In quite a few instances, they did, but in quite even more instances, they didn't. And so what ended up happening is when my wife came on as an office manager, she put the kibosh on all that. And at that point, she was like, listen, we're not in the business of giving money away. You know, these people have to understand that you are taking your money and doing it for their benefit. And so they have an obligation to reimburse you. But if they're not going to do that, then unfortunately, this is what happens. And I remember used to having all these conversations with some of my clients because they had heard previously where I used to upfront the cost. And then I stopped doing it. And they were like, well, we heard you pay for these costs up front. And I had to politely tell them what I'm about to tell you now. I am in a business, a legal business. And part of my business is ensuring the success of your case. Here is the thing though. This is your case. It's not my case, it's your case. If you're not willing to invest in your case, then there's not a whole lot I can do. The problem is that way too many times I was financially investing in your case. And even though you signed a contract saying that you would reimburse me regardless of whether we win or we lost, too many times when you lost, most people would say, the hell with you, sucks to be you, I'm not paying you anything. So I was getting more and more monies that was coming out of my pocket to pay for their cases, and I was getting nothing in return when they didn't get the result they were looking for. So I said, okay, in light of that, I'm gonna have to flip the script a little bit. This is your case. This is typically the type of expenses that I'm gonna have to spend. Pay for it up front, I'll put it in retainer, and as I need it, I'll use it. And it was interesting because at first I was terrified that I wouldn't have anybody would want to retain me. My wife nipped that in the bud because she was like, you're good at what you do, trust me, there'll be people who will pay that. And they did. And I was surprised. And for those of you who are like, you mean for your fees? I said, there's a certain area of law, because I did a lot of different type of contingency work, I had retainers for cost, and a lot of times the retainer wasn't that great, and so I would reimburse if I didn't get the case for them and there was retainer money left, I would reimburse them. If I didn't need to use the money, I would refund it because basically ethically I'm required to do that anyway. But the important point was I had to articulate to clients, and this is what I would tell to anyone. When you're going to an attorney or a law firm and they're asking you to make a financial investment in your case, remember, it is your case. And two, they are a business, and businesses aren't in the business of giving money away. So if they're going to invest in money, and I know the headaches because I've had cases where I've paid for court reporters, and I've paid for filing fees, and I've paid for mediation fees and so forth. That can get expensive really fast. Copy of transcripts, those things get expensive really fast. And the reality is that if you decide to quit and go to another attorney, that means I have just spent money on your case and you have decided that you're not going to reimburse me for your case. So I tell people this to say all the time, remember, law firms are business. They are not in the business of giving money away. They want to ensure that you are willing to invest in your business, in your case, as much as they're willing to invest their time in trying to win your case. So when you find yourself running across firms that either they have a retainer where they want you to pay their retainer up front, or whether it be they want you to pay the cost up front, don't take it personally and don't think they're trying to shank you. The reality is that they want to ensure that you're willing to be invested in your case, and bear in mind this. Some organizations' structure is such that they are not going to commit the funds because they know that if things don't go the way you expect them, there's a great chance that you probably will not reimburse them. Because they're not in the business of making money, they may not be in the business of giving money to your case for fear that they may be stuck with the bill if you decide to go elsewhere. Hey everyone, this is Tony Reeves. If you like my content or have any suggestions, please let me know, and by all means, make sure you share. The only way I can get my word out is you help me get the word out as well.